Captain, this is Lieutenant Lola reporting for duty. You seem to have a mission that requires my special attention. I'm fully equipped to handle all Starship systems, if you know what I mean. Oh, I see you've encountered an unexpected anomaly. Well, don't worry, Captain. I'm an expert in navigating through turbulent conditions. I can't even do this without
Perhaps I could use this as an excuse to go to those far-off planets with little polka-dotted people if necessary, and be able to talk about love, war, nature, God, sex, all those things that go to make up the excitement of the human condition.
I'm Captain James Kirk.
Captain Kirk.
Kirk of the Starship Enterprise.
And the ineluctable Mr. Spock.
Mr. Spock, my first officer.
Captain Dr. Spock of...
I can't imagine.
Kirk of the Starship Enterprise.
Did I ever tell you about the time I saved Captain Kirk's life?
Kirk of the Starship Enterprise.
What a blessing to be able to live one's life over again. If the life you've led has left you unfulfilled.
And this is it. This is the last episode of Star Trek the Animated Series.
I'm kind of glad. I'm ready. I'm just ready for some TNG. And I think they just threw everything they could at these last few episodes where there were just so many holes. And yeah, I'm ready for some, what do you call it? Some thorough storytelling.
Yeah. Well, and let's also, we can talk about this on next episode will be our series wrap up of Star Trek the Animated Saturday Morning After School Special. But we'll talk about what we're looking forward to in Star Trek The Next Generation. And what's the word? I have some, there's some thoughts about the first couple of seasons that they give my excitement a little bit of pause of like, don't forget, it takes them a while to get their footing, but I'm definitely looking forward to The Next Generation.
Yeah. I mean, but we tell them when they got it right. We say when they got it right, and we say when they got it wrong. So it's okay.
It is also, not to put a time on things, I hate doing that, but it is October, which means Thanksgiving and Christmas are right around the corner, and I am not ready for any of these things.
I'm not either. I always, don't you always like run out of time? Because right now it's when at the time of recording, it's middle of September, close to the end of September. And the next thing you know, tomorrow is Christmas. Yeah. Where did the time go? And like, no matter how you say, well, this year I'm going to start now and do this, it just creeps up on you every single fucking time.
Yeah. Well, we could put time in reverse.
Good one. How do you do that?
I don't know. I just get high and whatever comes out, comes out.
And somehow it just makes sense.
Well, it's the series finale of Star Trek the Animated Series, Season 2, Episode 6, The Counterclock Incident.
Sir, contact with an object. It's moving toward us. No visual contact yet.
Deflectors, full intensity.
Mr. Sulu. Yes, Captain.
Anything on your scanners?
It's coming at light speed.
Collision course. Visual contact.
Anything, over?
All wavelengths dominated by ionization effects, sir.
All engines full stop.
My word processor does not like the word counterclock because it is not a real word and it keeps trying to correct it.
Counterclock? What? Correct it to what?
2 words. Counter, space, clock, instead of all one word. Anyway, the Enterprise is headed back to Babel. Again, this time because Commodore Robert April, the first captain of the Enterprise, has reached 75 years of age, Starfleet's mandatory retirement age. So kind of nice to see that they don't force 80-year-olds to work in the socialist Star Trek utopian future, although 75 is actually fucking too old to be working too.
Well, according to, so now I think, 65 is the age of retirement. And then I think you could retire at 62. You can retire early. If you have enough money, you can retire anytime you want.
Right. I'm never going to be able to retire.
Me either.
Given those conditions.
Me either.
So the Enterprise is taking April to Babel for his retirement party. Now, you may know Robert April as a black dude in Star Trek Strange New Worlds.
Mm-hmm.
But here, he's an old white guy voiced by, you guessed it, James Doohan.
I thought that sounded familiar because I was thinking of the gorgeous guy with the beautiful eyes. I'm like, isn't that April?
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, they broke canon.
What? No, surely not.
April was, the first captain of the USS Enterprise, and his wife. So they're also traveling with his wife, Sarah, who is also apparently created a lot of the medical equipment that they currently use in sickbay. And McCoy gives her this cringeworthy compliment as he's walking her around and, thanking her for her contributions. He says, "It's nice to know that the lady is as intelligent as she is beautiful."
Ugh.
And then, I know, right? But she's also holding a flower. So he remarks that much like the flower you're carrying.
And she says, "Oh, doctor, flattery will get you everywhere." Are we to understand that the Aprils have an open relationship?
Apparently. Pineapple.
Now, I gotta say, flattery will get you everywhere is a phrase that I've probably used in my younger days.
Yeah.
Because I was an awkward kid that didn't have any game. And so, any kind of flirting was going to get you whatever you wanted. But then she says, "Well, I'm afraid my flower is dying." So this particular flower is from Capella 4, which has a lifespan of only a few hours. It was a seedling this morning, and soon it'll be dead.
Capella is where that power cat was from.
Oh, that's right.
So they're just taking shit from that from that planet, like flowers and cats and shit.
Well, I guess they're also taking the scenic route to Babel because Spock comes on the 1MC and says, "If you look starboard, you'll see the Beta Niobe supernova. And to your left." And they do look, and it is beautiful. And Sarah says it's also deadly. But Spock mentions we're at a safe distance away. Nothing to worry about.
It'll be fine. But just then, Spock tells Captain that they're picking up an unidentified object that's traveling really, really, really fast and currently on a collision course with the Enterprise. And it's traveling at warp 36, which could not be possible with any known ship that they know of. So they sort of navigate and move to get out of its way. And it's determined that the ship was only on a collision course of the Enterprise. By coincidence, it's heading somewhere else and they were just in the waste.
There's a lot of action that happens pretty quickly here. There's this collision course, not a collision course.
Mm-hmm.
And at first, they don't answer Uhura's calls, but when the Enterprise hits them with a tractor beam to try to slow them down, they pick up, and a blonde woman on screen speaks, but it's unintelligible.
Right.
So Uhura drops it into the universal translator, and ChatGPT determines that it is English, it's just backwards. So she runs the record player in reverse, and the woman's like, "I am Satan. I am Satan."
Well, this was the 70s.
It sure was.
Satanic panic was, starting. The woman says that she's on a priority mission and you're fucking with it. Let me go, because otherwise I'm doomed. But Kirk just wanted to save somebody. He sees them speeding towards this nova and they're like, "No, wait, they're going to kill themselves. I'm going to help."
Yeah. And, I have no context about anything that's going on here, but I'm going to insert my white ass into this problem and solve it.
Right. Yeah. I think you need help. So God damn it, you're going to get it.
Yep.
And
we're just spreading freedom out here.
Whether you want it or not.
Yep.
But then, so once she tells them that you're actually hindering me, he gives Sulu the order to, okay, let them go. But they can't. They can't disengage the tractor beam.
I have a question.
Mm-hmm.
So Scotty comes on the intercom with a warning. The engines are overheating and buckling. Now, see, this was my question when they called for the tractor beam.
Mm-hmm.
Imagine you're riding a bicycle at 5 kilometers per hour, and a car comes whizzing past at 90 kilometers per hour, and you throw a lasso onto that car. What does physics tell us about that little scenario? Why didn't the Enterprise get yoinked along at warp 30 or whatever?
You're right. So this thing's going warp 36. They don't go to warp 36 immediately. They start creeping up, and first it's like warp 11 and then slowly up and up. But meanwhile, the ship that they've lassoed has slowed down to like warp 32. I would think they'd be going the same speed.
Right. I guess the argument you could make is that the tractor beam is not like a lasso. It's not a physical object that would distribute the force to the attached vehicle. But instead, it's not 100% grab. It's like 80%. So it does grab a hold, and then it slowly catches up. I don't know.
Or maybe the lasso, a rope is a certain length, and that's the only length you got. But
this lasso is stretchy.
A tractor beam.
It's got
That's the only thing I can think of. But
anyway,
I'm just thinking if they're going warp 32,
we should take some physics classes and do our fucking research.
I know we're so pig ignorant. I mean, but also okay,
our science officers will report in.
Yeah,
you know they will.
And specifically, Stefan's always great about. So I've got a question then. Train A is moving at warp 36. And then train B attaches onto them. And train B was already moving at super slow warp, if not very slow. How would their tractor beam? So by the time they decide to tractor beam them, if an object moving at warp 36 versus warp like 2 or whatever, there's quite a bit of distance between them in within a few seconds. How is their tractor beam actually going to grab a hold of them at the rate they're moving? I know
you'd have to get it just at the right second. Yeah. And also, okay, so you mentioned that the alien ship begins to slow slightly too. So that is maybe the physics all make sense in this, and I was just too high to get it. Because now, are we applying reverse thrust on the Enterprise? And would that create a drag? Because if they're just stopped and there's no engine activity and they get pulled along, that's one set of numbers. But if they're trying to go backwards, if they're pulling back on the ship in the front, that would cause some drag and slow them down a little bit, maybe.
And then maybe that would explain the strain on the engines, because I would think you're being yanked along. You don't have to use your engines.
Yeah, shut them down.
So Scotty was saying, this is really tough on the engines. So what the fuck are the engines doing? They're not even capable of doing warp 36. So they're being pulled along.
Anyway,
so what are the engines? I know.
It's got to be, it's got to be right. Well,
science is not sound.
We'll wait for our science report. I'm sure it is being typed as we speak.
Or you can just cut all that out.
Yeah.
It was quite a tangent.
Spock reports the alien ship will make contact with the Nova in 3 minutes, 42.7 seconds. And unfortunately, when Kirk decides to break off the tractor beam, the Enterprise has been pulled along to warp 15, and the tractor beam won't disengage. Manual override doesn't work. Then they're up to warp 20, and the other ship is about to reach the Nova. Kirk apologizes to the Aprils, who are dismissive of this apology. We're all military men here. We knew the risks.
I'm sorry, I'm about to kill you right as you're retiring. And they're like, it's okay. It's fine.
We signed up for this. It's no big deal. The one last hope they have to survive this thing, when this other ship makes contact with the Nova and explodes, that should break the tractor beam. And if Sulu slams on the brakes and turns the steering wheel hard to port, they might just make it.
They could do like a drift, like Tokyo Drift. Or they could do a Enterprise drift. So it's Spock's turn to do the counting. We know Sulu usually does the counting, but he's doing the countdown. Contact in 52.3 seconds, contact in 39 seconds, and they're ready to, and there was so much drama built up here, which is, I mean, it was great. But as they're counting down, the front ship enters the Nova. It doesn't blow up. Kirk gives Sulu the signal to disengage. He still can't disengage. They're still being pulled by the alien ship that should have blown up by now, but they're being pulled. Spock keeps counting down, and they're still increasing speed.
In 35 seconds, the Enterprise will be pulled into the Nova 2, but it doesn't have the shielding to withstand the heat. And you know what they say? If you can't stand the heat, stay out of the Nova. I got a t-shirt design to work on now.
Oh, that's what kind of picture are you going to put on that?
Can't stand the heat, stay out of the Nova. Well, it's got to be a donut Nova.
It's got to be a Dunkin' Donut. It's got to be a pink Dunkin' Donut with sprinkles.
Yeah,
that is what it fucking looked like.
Yes, it did. It's like they took the pink sprinkled Dunkin' Donut and just applied a Gaussian blur to it.
Yes.
And maybe set the transparency to like 40 or 50%.
Oh my God, that's gonna be an awesome t-shirt.
Mm-hmm.
Can you put the Enterprise picture on a t-shirt?
I wouldn't. I don't want Paramount's lawyers up our ass.
Yeah.
But otherwise it's, it's such a fucking inside joke that like only 5 people are gonna get. So
the 5 people that listen thing.
I don't know who you people are, but we love you.
Thank you so much for listening and going on this ride with us. We're not even using a tractor beam.
That's really funny. Oh,
that's so dumb.
While we're on the side road here, driving through the country, looking at all
the lookout scenery, the scenic view.
Yeah. I want to tell you some of these people, some of y'all, you people.
What do you mean, you people?
Are listening to us from Canada, the United Kingdom, Germany, Australia, Spain, the Netherlands, France, China, Norway. Who are you people?
Oh, I love it. That's amazing.
We're
international. We're international.
It's so great. Yes, there's 9 people in China and ni hao.
I hope they're not learning slang from us. Like,
we wouldn't be a very good show if they didn't. Time's up. There's nothing they can do. But once again, they cut to Mrs. April, where we see petals falling off of her dying flower. And now it's starting to shrivel up. Put a pin in that. They enter the Nova, and the Enterprise has this fun, sparkly effect around it. And back on the bridge, Kirk's like, holy shit, we're still here. Uhura, can you get a visual? And outside the ship, the view screen is no longer white spots of light on a black field. Now it's a white field with black dots. Classic negative imagery.
Yeah.
We also see the Enterprise traveling backward through this negative space. So it's very clearly that we're in backward land. We're in negative land. During the commercial, they figured out that we're in some kind of reverse universe where black stars shine in a white void, and they're still being pulled along by the alien ship.
Of course, Scotty has to tell the captain that we're having to learn how to fly the ship all over again because everything is backwards. Everything is in reverse.
Uhura is about to ring the alien ship again when Mrs. April exclaims, "Oh, Captain Kirk, my flower."
Oh my.
No. It's come back to life because right before they entered the donut hole,
Man, now I want donut holes. Damn it.
The petals were dropping off, and now the flower is completely rejuvenated.
Robert's like, Jesus Christ, woman, the captain doesn't care about your botany experiment. Maybe Sulu, but not the captain. But somehow the almost dead flower is now back to full bloom again. And Spock's like, that ain't the only thing getting younger. Turns out the chronometer is running backward and everyone is getting younger because the flow of time is reversed in this universe. Jesus Christ. We should have put up the Aaron McDonald bat signal for this one.
Yeah. In Sarah's hand, the flower becomes a seed and kind of disappears. And then finally the alien ship is responding to Uhura's call. And they can all understand each other without the universal translator because their brains are working backwards.
Really?
No,
No, not buying it, Spock.
He introduces himself and he's like, hey, I was just trying to help. And we got pulled in. And she explains that she's from this universe that they're in now. She's an explorer of space, and she was caught unaware when one of their previously dead stars went nova and came to life. And she was pulled into the star. But because on their side of the universe, on Kirk's side, there was an equal star that was operating in reverse and going supernova, those two, I guess, planes intersected, and it causes a ripple and a hole in time, a donut hole in time.
I love this idea.
I mean, it's not a bad theory to use from a cinematic perspective.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't have a problem with that. I have a problem with the whole backwards shit.
Yeah. Yeah.
The white sky on a dark black stars and everything. You're talking backwards. You age backwards.
Mm-hmm. No, I don't think so. So we just turn around and go back through, right? Wrong. In this bass-ackwards universe, dead stars go nova and become stars. So it's no longer a nova in this universe. So maybe the scientists in this universe can help. I feel like there's a scene missing earlier where we learn that this woman's name is Carla 5, because Captain Kirk's log says we are proceeding to Carla 5's planet, Arid, and I imagine that the missing scene might have gone something like this. I'm Captain James T. Kirk of the Starship Enterprise. Hello, Captain Kirk. I'm Carla 5. Carla 5? How many others are there of you? Is this some Harry Mudd bullshit? Are you robots?
Are you clones?
Yeah.
Hey, I know a guy.
Yeah.
His name's Spock 1, or whatever we called him. And I can give you his address.
We just kind of left him. Not really sure what happened to that guy, but yeah, we can give you directions. So they've gathered in the conference room to talk this out. And Kirk leads with, I guess, a joke about everyone being happy to grow younger instead of older. And Robert's like, dude, this is great. If we can stay here long enough, I won't have to retire. Bruh, I'm 45 years old and I'm ready to clock out forever tomorrow. 30 more years of this bullshit? Fuck that.
Yeah, but you don't work in space. Like, that's got to be way cooler.
I guess.
Than doing what we do. Because I could go now. I can, but give me some space. I'm like, I'll work.
Anyway, we got to get home, and Spock's logical conclusion is that they must recreate the conditions that brought them here. One star dying in the forward universe, one being born in the backward universe, and that seems like a big, unlikely coincidence to happen twice in the same episode of Star Trek, the animated series.
So they get to her planet, and Spock, Commodore April, and Kirk are going to be down. So they end up going into her laboratory where there's a baby in the playpen and some older dude at a computer console. Well, as she introduces her son is the older man at the computer console, and the baby is like her grandfather.
Yeah.
So
father.
No. I'm sorry. That's her father.
Yeah.
So because time runs backwards there, they come into existence as old.
Mm-hmm.
And then as they get older, they actually get younger. I could not wrap my head around this.
Spock's like, of course, totally logical. People here are born old, age backward, and die in infancy. Your descendants are born before you and your ancestors after you. And
how do you
listen? Before we go any further, I just want. There are two possibilities here. If it is legitimately time running backwards, right? Then you're an old man laying in your recliner and you just suddenly pop to life, right? And then you de-age and what? Crawl back up in your mama?
That's what I'm wondering. But Spock says your descendants are born before you. If you're born, then that means you're burst forth from someone or something.
Right. So then the other thing to imagine is somebody giving birth to a fully grown old man? And yikes. Because
if it's not possible. It doesn't make any sense because if you're old, oh my God, it's too much of a mind fuck.
Yeah.
Who's giving birth? The 6-month-old child?
Yes, exactly.
This makes absolutely no sense. Sorry, guys.
And we're too fucking high anyway. So back to this little problem of us getting home. Carl's been working on that. Carl 4, the son, has been working on that. In order to compare their universe to ours, basically we'll take a couple of star charts, line them up, kind of pop them into place, and then we can figure out, where things match up. The novas are easy to line up, and this was the moment in the episode that I realized the name of their planet is Eret, which is Terra spelled backwards.
Oh my I didn't even realize that.
So Eret, Terra spelled backwards, and Earth, also known as Terra, line up. And so you line those planets up and you line up the novas, and now you have a universe that the two maps line up and make sense.
Right. So they're looking at the star map, and I love that it's actually on a table, because that's what we see in modern Star Trek. It's either in a hologram in front of them or on a table, a console. So they're looking at the star map.
You know what else it reminded me of just now as you described this big table. So they've got these maps laid out on this table, and they're like, Spock's like, okay, let me light up the lights that show you where all the stars are and which ones are going nova. Do you know those informative displays when you go to the state park or whatever, that it's like, here's the map of the state park with the topography and everything, and you can push a button and it'll light up something on the map and then you can read about it? That's what this is. But when Spock points out that the maps are lined up, there's no active novas happening at the same place in both universes. So April suggests they could take a dead star in this universe and alive it again somehow, which I guess is the thing we know how to do, which Kirk likens to a midwife giving birth to a star. Yeah. The next problem is that Carla's ship had to travel at top speed, which is warp 30-something, just to keep from burning up in the star, and the Enterprise can't go that fast, so she offers them her ship, but it's not big enough for 430 people, so they come up with a plan to use her ship on autopilot at top speed, dragging the Enterprise along by tractor beam. It worked once. It ought to work again, I guess.
Yeah. Any miscalculation, and they're going to go right into the supernova. That whole time going backwards, it really didn't register for any of them until now, where they're like, time is actually going backwards for them, and actually really fast. They went ahead and set a course for the dead star, but they're going to start aging backwards, and they've got a certain amount of time to get out of there. They're going to be carrying positive matter to ignite the dead star to life, so everything is a gamble.
On the bridge, Kirk tells April they might just get to Babel after all, but Robert is just really not looking forward to retirement. He'd be happy to de-age and spend 20 more years gallivanting around the stars.
I would too. If I'm going to age, I would take...
I think we'll get to this at the end.
20. Okay,
because I've got thoughts too.
No, yeah, I've got lots of thoughts on this.
Yeah. Uhura gets a call from Carla on Eret, wishing them luck and pointing out that she will never know the outcome. Either they'll escape back to their universe or burn to a crisp in the star trying. And Kirk thanks her for the use of her ship.
They have 18 minutes and 37 seconds before the youngest person on their crew turns into a baby. So there's an accelerated time movement backwards for them.
This is a threat we haven't discussed yet. Has anybody de-aged to infancy? How are we going to keep the ship going?
Apparently, they're going to be in really big trouble because as they go get younger, they're going to lose their knowledge. So
eventually there'll be idiot teenagers who don't know how to drive a starship.
Right.
And to demonstrate this, Kirk asks Sulu about their course. And they've both got crackly teenager voices now, which I thought was fun. And they're looking younger. And Sulu's like, what's a course? What do these buttons do?
I'm like, I don't know. What am I doing here?
Kirk orders Eric's to take over for Sulu and orders Uhura to take over for Eric's. But then Uhura doesn't understand any of the controls either. And Kirk's like, gosh, Spock, I guess you'll have to take over for Sulu and Uhura. And Spock's like, yeah, but who's going to take over for you?
Luckily, Spock, good thing he's got those Vulcan genes because he's going to get younger at a slower rate. So he's okay for the moment. But eventually, he's going to also become too young.
We get a captain's log. Robert is no longer a silver fox. He's looking young. And you got to be paying close attention to catch this detail. But Uhura's feet don't even touch the floor back there in the background.
They're so cute.
10 minutes, 14.21 seconds, Spock reports. They'll only have moments to execute the plan when they arrive at the star, which includes disconnecting the tractor beam at the correct time. And Kirk doesn't even know what a tractor beam is at this point, so Spock tries to assume command, but April pulls rank on him. He is the oldest person aboard, I guess, and so even though Vulcans age and therefore de-age more slowly, like because April's so much older than Spock, I don't know. I didn't get this either.
It seems like so. It seems pretty fast though to me because it was only minutes that Kirk got too young, and then minutes after Spock is now. I mean, it's a quite an accelerated rate that they're de-aging.
Yeah. So that's the plan. Robert assumes command, and Sarah is going to tend to the ship full of children because that's what women were supposed to do.
Go tend to the children.
Spock's going to stay on the bridge until he can't function any longer, so he takes the nav station, and April orders Carla's vessel armed. 9 seconds to impact, Spock counts us down again. Into the heart of the Nova they go as the camera cuts around the bridge. Child Spock at Sulu's station, barely able to reach the controls. Baby Uhura sitting up on the railing, being held by Sarah.
Goo goo gaga.
Yep.
So cute. Sparkles.
Enterprise enters the Nova and exits back into their universe. And Robert April steps out onto the aircraft carrier as the mission accomplished banner unfurls. And Sarah's like, we still have a problem. The Enterprise crew, they're all children. And Robert's like, well, hey, do you remember that episode of Star Trek where they put everybody through the transporter and just rematerialized them using the last pattern?
I thought that was interesting that they brought this as a solution because didn't they do this once before, but only in TAS or something?
I don't remember. It was done before, yes.
But once before. And I'm like, why didn't they do that on all these other episodes where, something happens to their physiology? Is that how they ultimately correct the problem in Rascals? The Star Trek The Next Generation episode? I think so. Yeah.
I loved that one.
That was when Guinan was a little kid.
Yeah.
Oh, it was the cutest thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, so they basically put them all back in the transporter with their stored last known configuration, and they're all back to being the same age they were when they left. And of course, April and his wife have a chance to stay where they are and not get old again. But they choose to go back to being 75. Yeah, she's like, I kind of like being young again. We get to live our lives all over again. You could be a starship captain again. And Robert says, what a blessing to be able to live one's life over again, if the life you've led has left you unfulfilled. No, Sarah, I don't want to live it all over again. I couldn't improve one bit on what we've had together. And she's all, oh, Robert. And the music swells and they kiss. Gag. Yeah. Now that moment, though, and this is the clip that I pulled for the intro, our animated series version of the Humanist Trek intro. And we're almost to the humanist themes and we can talk about it. But first,
Everybody's back to normal a little bit later, including the Aprils. Kirk tells them they received a message from Starfleet that might bring some cheer, and Uhura relays the message. In view of Commodore April's heroic actions aboard the Enterprise today, we are reviewing his mandatory retirement and will consider his appeal to remain Federation ambassador at large. And Robert says, well, good. Just because somebody's 75 years old doesn't mean they're ready to stop giving service to the galaxy.
Giving service to the galaxy.
Oh, my.
The whole galaxy, Robert? I mean, really?
Oh, man, that's some bukkake right there. Holy shit. And as they continue toward Babel, Kirk notices Sarah's flower has blossomed all over again.
Oh, my.
Want to give service to the galaxy.
She says, yes, our trip into the negative universe gave it a second life. It gave all of us a second life.
Not really, because you didn't take the fucking years. I take the years. Do it again.
I don't know, because here's the thing.
Boy, I'm sure glad that's over with.
I'm happy the affair is over.
Me too.
A most annoying, emotional episode.
Yeah, but I learned something today.
When dreams become more important than reality, you give up travel, building, creating.
One jealous god, if all this makes a god.
By sparing your helpless enemy, who surely would have destroyed you, you demonstrated the advanced trait of mercy.
Frankly, I was rather dismayed by your use of the term half-breed. You must admit, it is an unsophisticated expression.
Robert's point about how wonderful to live your life over again if your life has been unfulfilled. I don't know, man. I look at it as, and I'm a pessimist right now, but like I look at it as, God, the last 20 years of my life have been fucking awful or whatever, right? Like if you've been destitute and poverty, we were talking about this off the air, and you're homeless, struggling for fucking where your next meal comes from. I don't want to go back and live that all over again. And Robert's point is, but maybe you have a chance to live it all over again differently. And I would need that guarantee before I make the decision. I say what's happened has happened. I don't want to go back to high school and relive that bullshit unless you can promise me that things will be different this time. Things will be better.
Yes. However, in this episode, they are now back in their time, but younger. So that anything that it doesn't negate anything that they've already
They're not
done.
actually reliving those years over.
Right. He's already a Commodore. He's already actually done all those things. And now he can just enjoy being fucking young, having young bones. And you know what I mean? And because let me tell you, getting old. So technically he would have, like, in their time, they all know him to be 75, but he would have been, 35 and got to be young with his wife again. And he would have still already done all the stuff.
Yeah, I guess if that's the scenario, then sure.
Yeah.
I might.
I mean, I would have taken it.
But it's why, like, the idea of reincarnation is just, in addition to not being scientifically sound, it's completely uncompelling to me, as is the idea of any kind of afterlife. Like, I want this to end at some point.
Yeah, but there's a lot of people who don't.
Right.
There are a lot of people who cannot grasp the idea that once you're gone, you're gone.
Right.
So they have heaven and they have all of these other second lives and reincarnations, and you come back as a cat. I don't know, but those are that's I feel like.
Okay, I'd come back as a cat. Okay.
Oh, I would too.
All right.
Well, as long as I don't live in Ohio. But
they're eating the cats. They're eating the dogs.
But I think some people can't reconcile. That's a human's psyche's way of trying to wrap their head around. I'm gone, and I don't get a second chance to do all these things, because that's depressing. That can be depressing for some people.
Well, let's bring Becca in on our conversation about having a second life. Becca spent a lot of time on Second Life and will join us shortly to talk about it.
Let's get right to business.
Fine, I'm authorized to pay an equitable price. Federation has invested a great deal of money in our training. They're about due for a small return.
Listen, we pay off percentages. We're entitled to a little services for our money, huh?
Is this the way your citizens do business? Their right of petition?
They pay their percentages and the boss takes care of them.
Is there anything else?
We want to thank everyone who supports the show on Patreon. We especially want to thank our founding admirals. A special thanks to Russell, Allie, Peter, Sarah, Sherry, and Bruce. Thank you, patrons.
Thanks, guys. Well, hello there, interstellar wanderers. Guinan here, your favorite purveyor of wisdom and cosmic cocktails. Now, I've got something to tell you about a little podcast called Humanist Trek. I know. I usually deal with real-life space-time drama at 10 Forward, but this one's worth a listen. You see, they're on a mission. Laughter, exploration, and all that jazz. First off, leave a review, share the love like it's a secret ingredient in a warp core breach. Spread it around, and let the galaxy know what's what. For those feeling a bit more philanthropic and just wanting to splurge some Federation credits, become a patron. It's like having a backstage pass to the holodeck, but better. Early access to episodes, exclusive merch that's cooler than a Ferengi's profit margin, and bonus content like personal logs. Imagine Spock, but funnier. Oh, and did I mention reactions to those very short treks? It's like watching Klingons try to line dance. Pure entertainment. So it's time to join the fleet. Do yourself a favor. Head over to patreon.com/humanisttrek. It's the cosmic investment in laughter and the kind of support that makes the universe a brighter place. Trust me, it means a lot to them. And hey, it might just brighten up your journey through the stars too. Cheers.
I assume you're loitering around here to learn what efficiency rating I plan to give your cadets.
Trainees, to the briefing room. Is that all you gotta say? What about my performance?
Aren't you dead?
I don't believe this was a fair test of my command abilities. There was no way to win.
There's no correct resolution. It's a test of character.
Now, what is that supposed to mean?
I am understandably curious.
May I ask you a question?
Who's been holding up the damn elevator?
I did spend a lot of time on Second Life.
Uh-huh.
It's where I found my sex operator voice.
Mm-hmm. Give us a taste of that.
Interesting.
I don't remember what I used. Oh, I remember what it was. So.
Do you need me to not look at you while you do this?
No, it's fine.
Okay.
We used to play bingo.
Okay.
In Second Life.
I bet you did.
No, like it was just a way to pass time. Shut up, Allie. Anyway, there was a group of friends that I think Russell hung out with us too. And my brother, for those of you who don't know that name.
She's getting ready to tell us the story about her sex operator voice. With the Second Life group that her brother was in.
Yeah.
And this is
whatever. Anyway, there was this one of the girls in the group was named Kimmy. And
Kimmy.
I called her Kimmy Come Pants.
Jesus Christ.
And every time I called her that, everybody says, you should be a sex operator. And I'm like, okay. I don't know.
There you go.
Do you think ChatGPT would generate a sex operator script?
Yeah.
Let's see. Well, I don't know.
Don't they do everything?
No, but they have it programmed to have some kind of morality.
Yeah. Oh, does it?
Right.
I don't know because have I not
short.
sent you those country songs that ChatGPT or AI has created?
Yes, you have.
They're hilarious. And that's not like okay. Some of those songs are not okay.
Okay, I'm feeding the prompt now. Oh yeah, it's like
feeding the prompt.
I'm.
Good Lord.
Oh man.
It's already gone to the left.
Oh my God! I said write
ago.
a short script, and this is like holy shit. I'm not even gonna read it.
Is it that bad? Holy.
No, I don't know, but I'm not gonna read it. I'm gonna send it to you.
Oh, okay.
And you're gonna read it.
Oh fuck!
You're gonna send it to me?
Yeah, so that you can read it in sex operator voice. Okay. All right. This is on the fly, everybody.
Thank you, ChatGPT.
Yeah, right. And I'm sorry I'm using AI. I know it's bad to use AI in any way, even if it's for fun. I get it. I know. Well, it supposedly uses like 3 million liters of water just to do one simple thing. I don't know.
Really?
There's a lot of shit going around that it's.
Is that true?
Here.
Oh my God.
Oh, I can't wait to hear this.
I'll tell you what my prompt was, and then
You need to put a trigger warning in this for my brother. I don't think he wants to hear me say this shit.
Okay.
Oh my
Holy
gosh.
fuck. Okay.
This is from Forbes.
I need a sexy name though, because there's fillers.
Lola.
Oh, Jesus fucking Christ.
Lola of the Mugatus. I don't know.
Do you want a Star Trek name?
I guess. I don't know.
Well, you could. Okay. We'll get to the impact of AI on the environment at another time.
Jesus Christ.
Okay, here is Lieutenant Lola, who has been affected by the Naked Now virus aboard the Enterprise. And go.
Captain, this is Lieutenant Lola reporting for duty. You seem to have a mission that requires my special attention. I'm fully equipped to handle all Starship systems, if you know what I mean. Oh, I see you've encountered an unexpected anomaly. Well, don't worry, Captain. I'm an expert in navigating through turbulent conditions. I can't even do this without Just set a course and I'll guide you at warp speed straight to maximum satisfaction.
Oh my gosh.
Shall I activate the deflector shields, or would you prefer something a little more exposed?
Would you want to raw dog it?
I can see your pulse is rising, like it's caught in a tractor beam. God, I can't do this anymore. I'm not reading the rest of this.
Are you ready for me to take command?
Oh my God.
Prepare yourself, Captain. I'm going to boldly go where no one has gone before, or at least not in this galaxy.
Oh my God.
Oh my gosh. I cannot believe ChatGPT wrote that.
It sure enough did.
Just say the word, and I'll make sure we hit impulse and reach full impulse soon.
I said, write a short phone sex operator script, but make it related to Star Trek in some way. That's the result.
Wow.
Oh my God.
And honestly, if you hadn't read it in that voice, it would have sounded totally legit.
Right. Yeah.
Which is goes to show you how very full of innuendos.
Well, and there's all these like pause for effect, breathe deeply.
Mm-hmm.
Like there's a lot of prompts that I wasn't reading. I was just, like doing the thing.
Nice.
Like, so that goes to say, delivery.
So this is according to Forbes. AI's projected water usage could hit 6.6 billion cubic meters by 2027.
What are they using water for?
I'm like, how though?
Cooling the supercomputers that are doing the AI.
Okay.
I see.
Right? Like it's water use in the data centers for cooling.
Mm-hmm.
That's crazy. They haven't found a more eco-friendly way to cool. I guess the planet's on fire, so.
Right.
Or I was gonna say put it in a cool
walk-in refrigerator.
Well, put it in Antarctica or some shit.
Yeah,
I don't know.
But yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Anyway, I'm sorry I used AI for a joke, for a bit. I'm sorry. I Hail Mary, repent, and
okay.
Becca's back with us now for the answer to the final question for Star Trek the Animated Series Starfleet Academy Cadet Challenge. Starfleet Academy Cadet Challenge, Star Trek the Animated Series Edition. One of those things will make sense later. Remind us our question for the Counterclock incident.
This was the last Star Trek production until Star Trek the Motion Picture. This is the longest period of time in which the franchise lay dormant. How many years passed between this production and the motion picture?
We calculated 5 years, and I swear to God, if the answer is like 5.236,
or
Spock answer,
4.5 something.
We're gonna be pissed.
No, I wouldn't.
You're not gonna Vulcan the answer on me?
I'm not gonna say I would never do that. I'm gonna say I didn't think to do that much research. So,
all right, what's the real answer?
It is 5 years.
Woo!
Correct.
Yeah, look at us go, knowing our dates.
2 in
and
a
stuff.
row. You got
That's
right.
nice.
Good
Yeah.
About goddamn time we got some stuff right.
Awesome. Next time on Humanist Trek, we'll reflect on Star Trek, the animated series as a whole, Allie will probably put together some stupid game for me to play to try to remember all the things that we talked about. And we'll get our first question for Star Trek: The Next Generation. That's next on our list. Can't wait for it. So join us for that.
Iftor, hech, smoozma.
Kapla.
Humanist Trek is available wherever you replicate your podcasts. Follow us on all the social medias at Humanist Trek. Become a patron at patreon.com/humanisttrek. Open hailing frequencies to podcast@humanisttrek.com and visit our website, humanisttrek.com. Humanist Trek is a production of Sarah Austin Media.